Today we're going to be showing you landscape designs for shade to part shade gardens. Hi, I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings, and today we're at the rental house, and we bought this house a couple years ago and tore out all the landscape. It was overgrown and just was not looking good. It sat for a couple years, and we finally now have had some time to get in here and get it all landscaped up. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the plants that were used in this landscape project. I think this design may resonate for a lot of you. It's small scale. I mean, we did it all at once, so it's going to feel a little bit more big scale, but really the spaces that we planted into were fairly just small, average spaces for most homeowners. So let's go ahead and take a look at the plants that were planted in the shade to part shade garden. So I'm going to show you the full project here to start with, so you can kind of see what I'm going to be talking about as I go through this video. We've got it mulched in. We have some metal edging to hold that mulch back. And a lot of the plants that were used are going to create some pops of color, especially up against that dark mulch. Now there are a few dark plants that were planted as well, so I'm not sure why he went with dark plants, but maybe because they're new varieties and it'll give me something to talk about in this upcoming year. And then along the back of the house too, a lot of brightly colored plants, which this is what I like, especially up against that dark mulch and against the dark house as well. So we were able to finally get a place where we could really get a bunch of hostas in a garden that we can talk about. So that will be nice as these continue to grow and fill out. We'll be able to really hopefully hit home a little bit for some of you gardeners that are dealing with shade and are looking for what to put into your shady locations. This is facing west, so the cornfield over there is towards the west. And as we make around to the side of the house here, we are on the north side of the house, where the north side is usually going to be the hardest side, I think, to create, landscapes in, because what do you plant to really have color even though you're dealing with a lot of shade? So here he kind of alternated some Heuchera. This is a Primo Pistachio, and it's that nice bright green foliage. And then we also have some Heuchera in here. These really aren't going to do a lot as far as flower. They're mostly just grown for their foliage interest. The Heuchera they used was the cutting edge. It's got nicely serrated leaves with that nice deep dark veining. It steps down just a couple steps here, and he planted Thalictrum. Now it looks like this is going to be the Thalictrum cotton candy. These will get about, probably about 36 inches tall once the flower spikes goes up, and that will help hide a little bit some of those pipes and such for the utilities that are going into the house. Got another Heuchera there, a darker one. This one also has a lot of purple in it, so that will be kind of nice because I think the purple will maybe appear a little bit brighter. This is the dressed up Heuchera with its really gorgeous ruffled edges. Then there's a few ferns in here, the Franz Forever fern. I love these because of the texture, and I think eventually as these grow out, it's just going to create kind of a mass of foliage and just fill in that space there, hopefully covering up the brick. As we head around the corner, we have a Ligularia here, Ligularia bottle rocket. That will be an early season bloomer with a bright yellow flower. You can see we've got mole issues. The mole traps are sitting there. It was just mowed, so they got to get set back out again. Another little hosta. So this one here, this one is Miss America. So this Miss America hosta, although it is little right now, this was a quart size when it was planted, it is going to literally fill in this whole garden space. The thing that's cool with Miss America is it sends out really, really tall flower spikes that are up to 5 to 6 foot tall with gorgeous white blooms. There's another brightly colored hosta with more of the yellow shades on the inside of the leaf with the green margins. This is the Shadowland etched glass. And my hope is, I think Rod tried to plant all of the proven winter hostas in this bed, so we'll be able to show you all the proven winter hostas in one video as they continue to mature and show you the size and such. Oh, look at the ruffled edges on this one. This one here, I'm looking at the tag, is the Hope Springs Eternal. Now I know Hope Spring Eternal, when it gets mature, will also fill in this space. I did tell Rod when he was planting this bed, I said, don't pack things so full. I says a lot of times when he plants things really full, and it's just a little bit discouraging, I think, for you, the viewers. because he's just planting it so full, and you're like, I just can't do that many plants. So I said, plant this one more realistic to what an average gardener would do. Oh, that bright yellow. That's really a nice pop of color. This is a Shadowland Coast to Coast. Really beautiful. What we'll try to do is put links down in the description section on YouTube. That way, if you want more information on these hostas, as far as how big they get, you'll be able to get all that information in one place. This here is the Shadowland Diamond Lake. A little bit of blue tone going on there on that foliage. Really pointy tips. That's kind of fun. Oh, and I love this plant. And he did mass planting. That's cool. These here are bleeding heart. This is the gold heart bleeding heart. And this is going to be fantastic spring color. This will probably be one of the first things that actually blooms in this garden bed. It's going to have tall pink bleeding heart flowers. If you're familiar with bleeding hearts at all, it's just kind of an iconic spring blooming flower. Another hosta here. This one's a little bit narrower on the foliage. It is the Voices in the Wind. And look at that, really ruffled, really sharp point on that. That's going to look really sharp. I know it's sometimes hard to get an idea of what it's going to do, because this obviously is not a mature landscape. This is something that we're going to have to grow into, and something that we will continue to update you on, next year and the following year as these plants grow. We've got some Astilbe here. This is Vision in red. These two, a lot of these are just our quart size plants. The ones that are bigger come from gallons, but these quart sizes, I mean, they start off small, but they fill out quickly. So next year, I think we'll already be seeing a lot of these quarts flowering. Now this is a big one. This is going to be the Woo La La hosta, and this one can get up to 3 to 4 foot wide. It is going to absolutely take over and fill in this entire corner of this bed. As we continue to make ourselves around the patio here, we've got a little bit more shrubs introduced and some varieties that we really haven't talked about in the past. And that was Rod's goal with planting this bed, was can we get some plants in here that we really haven't been able to talk about because we don't have them anywhere in the landscape. This is a new hydrangea for 2020, actually came out this year, 2025. This is the storm-proof hydrangea, which has really strong stems and can hold, the weight of the wind. Also, this is a arborescent or a smooth hydrangea, so it blooms off of the new growth, so very reliable. There's a few creeping phlox tucked in here. These are the magenta sprite, which these are going to give us early spring color. It's going to be, it's creeping phlox, so it's going to kind of spread, and potentially it should fill in this little corner here of the bed. Spirea in the background there, that's the Spirea orange slices. That's a fairly long blooming perennial, so that will be one that just kind of continues to kick out color throughout the season. As I mentioned earlier, it's really deep, dark Heuchera here. It looks nice. It'd be better if it had a lighter mulch. I think this is one of the dressed up series. Oh, there's the tag. Dressed up. Oh, this is a new one. No, this is the Dolce Sultry Night. So that's why it's in here, because this is a brand new variety for 2026. So, but even you can see the sun kind of shining on it, and just look how glossy it is, how ruffly it is, and you're even seeing like the purple undertones there from the back side of that foliage. So yeah, that's going to be really pretty. Now he does have 2 big crescent planters in here that he had planted up for the summer. Now that it's fall, we've removed all the plants out of it, and we're not going to plant them up for fall. It's just our season's not long enough here to plant up these big pots for, this house. There is one sitting there on the porch or on the patio there, just a smaller crescent pot that they dropped a mum in, and that looks nice. But these are almost 3 foot across, so these are very, very large planters. Schizocarium grass. This is a new grass for 2025, and this grass, it's interesting. I don't think a lot of people know about it yet, because we grew a bunch of them and we haven't sold a bunch of them yet. And that is often the case with new varieties. If influencers or what have you don't talk about them, nobody knows about them. But man, I'm loving that blue, the green, the kind of powdery silver, the little bit of burgundy. So much color on these grasses. And this is kind of a nice plant to have just centered here right on this landscape. So it's going to be kind of like the pillar to the center of this garden. In front of it are Spirea. These are the double play dolly Spirea, and they've got that nice chartreuse foliage. We're going to get pink flowers on them so that the brightness of that foliage is going to look nice in this typically darker area because it is fairly shady here. Another sultry night. You can see he kind of mimicked or did a mirror image on this side of the bed. There's another Spigilla orange slices, and then another Hydrangea stormproof. Then as we make our way to this little corner here, we're kind of switching it up to a little bit of different plant as well. So we're going to look at this kind of as a pie, a piece of a pie, a quarter of a pie. So in the back corner there, up against the stairs, that is the Bloomerang dark purple lilac. That will get about 4 foot tall and 4 foot wide, and that will really fill in this whole space here nicely. There's some Carrick's Bowles golden grass that is edging the walkway. We've got the Love Story Hosta. We have Astilbe Dark Side of the Moon. So now Astilbe Dark Side of the Moon has that really dark foliage, but it sends up a gorgeous purple bloom. So that bloom will be really nice and bright in this area. Another Hosta tucked in the corner here. Let's see which one this one is. Some of them I can recognize by their foliage, but there's so many of them it's hard to say. Oh, Lone Star. Yeah, Hosta Lone Star. And then as we make our way towards the front here, we've got Hosta Coast to Coast with its bright chartreuse green foliage, and that's going to really pop nicely. And that is one thing we'll do a lot, is we'll plant the darker foliage things by the lighter foliage things because they play so well off of each other. And then he lined the front of this bed with more of that Sprite magenta phlox, and that again is going to be that early color, just that nice low growing mat that will really kind of start this garden off. So I'm excited for this collection of plants that were planted in this bed, and we'll be sure to kind of update you on how they're doing. It's the fall right now, so they were just planted, so we're not going to see a lot of growth happening at this point in the season, but something we'll definitely be able to talk about next spring, next summer, once they reemerge and put on some growth. Thank you for walking through this garden with us today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.